So the WBA has officially made their first move when it comes to the super middleweight division. As Terrence Bud Crawford retires from the sport of boxing, the IBF has already mandated a fight between Osles Iglesias, the Cuban sensation, and Canelo Alvarez for the vacant IBF bout. You had the WBC order Hamza Shiraz against Christian Mabili, the WBC interim super middleweight champion of the world, and you had the WBO mandate a fight between Diego Pacheco and Hamza Shiraz once again. But today, the WBA has officially decided to elevate the WBA interim champion of the world, Armando Resendiz, hailing from Mexico, standing at 5'10", 69-inch reach with a record of 16-2, 11 of those wins coming by way of knockout. They've elevated him to the full WBA super middleweight champion. We got ourselves a super middleweight champion. And his name is Armando Resendiz. And not just that, but the WBA has also did a little changes to their rankings. They have officially dropped Canelo Alvarez from being the #1 ranked fighter in the WBA rankings in this 168-pound division to the #2 spot and put back Bektemir Mulakaziev back to #1, making him the mandatory fight against Armando Resendiz next. Yes, Bektemir, who just beat Darius Fulham. Armando Resendiz, who just beat Caleb Plant when he was a plus 1,000 underdog. Caleb Plant was a minus 2,000 favorite going into that fight. And Resendiz beat the hell out of him. You still had one judge that should have been arrested that scored the fight 115-113 for Caleb Plant. Still, Armando Resendiz was able to walk away with the victory. Now, I'm hearing that fight will happen next unless he decides to fight Edgar Berlanga. Yes. Now, if he decides to fight Edgar Berlanga, 23 wins, 18 of those coming by way of knockout with 2 losses, coming off a devastating loss back in August against Hamza Shiraz. 5th round KO, was honestly beaten down, okay? Beaten down. But the only thing is that if Armando Resendiz wants to fight against somebody like Edgar Berlanga, in my opinion, which would be a way huger fight, way bigger fight than against Bektemir, I don't think that would be for the WBA super middleweight strap. And they might just strip Armando Resendiz if he decides to take that route. Now, that's unless they're able to get an exemption and go ahead, instead of setting up the mandatory fight that the WBA has enforced with Bektemir and Armando Resendiz, then that means we could carry on with a fight with Edgar Berlanga, okay? Which would be absolutely exciting if the WBA would allow this. Now, at the end of the day, sanctioning bodies are getting a little tight. I don't think we will be seeing Edgar Berlanga next, even though that would be an absolutely fantastic fight. 6'1", 73-inch reach versus 5'10", 69-inch reach. Armando Resendiz. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, my friends. I still love a fight with Bektemir. I still love that fight. Mulakaziev was coming off that fight with Darius Fulham, who has been knocked out before in the 3rd round years ago against Gabriel Rosada. So I couldn't even imagine 2 tanks, 2 stylistic fighters the same as Mulakaziev and Armando Resendiz going to battle inside that boxing ring. It's like putting 2 pit bulls in a 5-foot circle and just taking off their leashes. Boom! That's what type of fight we would get with Bektemir and Armando Resendiz. So Either way, it's going to be absolutely exciting, but at the end of the day, the WBA has elevated the WBA interim 168-pound champion Armando Resendiz to the full champion and has some options. The WBA has enforced the fight with Bektemir Mulukaziev, who I said is now ranked the #1 ranked fighter in the WBA rankings, 168-pound division, but was in talks of possibly fighting in a huge fight, moneymaker, possibly in the millions, against Edgar Berlanga, my friends. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, man. Let me know what you guys think. This is the MMA Boxing Addicts channel, and I'm